So, as far as you go, Jairam, you've been a little away from the actual practice, education of architecture, but you are sitting monitoring the work of architects and trying to bring best practices in PMC, international standards, standardization, etc. So I would want to know, like, you are doing large, huge projects. So what has the repercussion on your projects been, and what do you foresee as the new trend? What technologies do you think will help architects and PMC project managers to, see that they are more efficient and bring about the. See, I always feel that when we start on board, and especially for these long gestation projects, which go about 10 years, we see so many people on the management team itself changing. And sometimes you find that the only people who are stationary are the architects and the PMC. So, so even to
I know it.
describe the design intent and carry it through as a single thread to the end becomes a challenge. So I would like your inputs on this and your experience, and how we could, of course, collaboration is the key. So,
Anyway,
yes.
thanks, Sheila, and thanks everybody for having me here. It's really an honor to be part of the SQUAB series. I've been there a few times earlier. So I'm an architect myself and an urban planner. And I'm a product of CEPT, Professor Christopher Benninger, along with V. Doshi and all. So I did my planning. So I know I've experienced architecture and experienced that life. Before I thought what really excites me is delivery of projects. So what I would first start off by saying is, Habib is not here, but our professor, Mr. Deshpande, used to tell us, architects have got a larger contribution to the society than a doctor, because architect's mistake is seen for this generation and the future generations, whereas a doctor's mistake is buried, right? So I think it's extremely important, therefore, when we are wearing that hat, we have a high degree of responsibility in terms of what we are trying to do for the entire community. I think in the run for the day-to-day stuff, and we need to carve a name for ourselves, I think most of the architects have become more individualistic rather than collectively contributing to something what we think as, this is the change that we need to be bringing to this entire community. I'll give you an example of during the pandemic. The pandemic, I think, provided the best opportunity for the architects who control the built environment to all come together and say that, hey, listen, this is what we as a fraternity could be doing to improve the healthcare system in the country. We as a community, we could come back and look at what we need to do for several people who are dying of housing and things like that. These are the two sectors which got really impacted. And this was something that was missing, and we could definitely have played a larger role. It doesn't matter, because as a group, we are very powerful. And with someone like Habib heading the COA, they could have had a lot of impact on this thing. How did the best of the developer bodies go to the government and ensure that the construction sector be regarded as an essential services? You know what I mean? So we could continue the business of delivery of the projects, construction of the projects that could not. So I would sincerely urge that, as architects, we can be more powerful. We just have to add more teeth to it, and collectively we come back. And yeah, at the end of the day, it is all about that. The next thing that I would like to focus is on, as architects, be it education. When I look at it from an school standpoint, we need to call them schools. I like that name rather than calling us College of Architecture or something. It has to be still the School of Architecture. You learn how to design, you learn the basics, you learn a lot of things that go together. I think we all said that. I would probably echoing it. It's a university industry connect. We talk about when we are doing management courses, we talk about when we are doing others, the university and industry need to connect together, and that too more frequently. And this is the only recipe for making most of the students who come out, they are at least 10 to 20, or even I would say 30% industry ready. What I mean by industry ready is you will not have certain basic issues as they do not know how to design, they do not know how to look at dimension, they don't understand what is being taught to them. So I think those are some of the important things, and university industry connect has to happen all times. And what Professor Rajiv was talking about, the quality of the people, quality of teachers, it is directly proportional to the number of colleges we have opened. The number of colleges that we have under architecture is now, it's like grown, it's mushroomed. I remember when I did in 85, 90s, I know there were just 30 colleges. When we used to go for NASA, we could kind of meet with each other and kind of figure out, these 30 people and all. Now it's like East Zone, West Zone, North, yes, and there is, I don't know, it's kind of different.
I agree.
Yeah, so that exactly tells where you're getting the quality of the people. So the teachers, we know we only get better by practice. We only get better by practice. We don't get, that is the only way a doctor becomes really best. We get really better. I'm sure Sheila is a better architect now than what she was 30 years back. It's just all of us. It just comes to that. So that we need to understand. And one thing that I would like the schools to incorporate is please focus on project management and delivery. It's extremely important. Let the architecture schools focus on project management and delivery. Let it not be unidimensional, just on focus on architecture. I want to produce a better design. I know design is very important. Please focus on how the delivery needs to happen. You can call people like us who can come and give excellent practical examples of what you need to do when it comes to delivery. It's very important. Then talking about innovation, we talked about BIM or virtual reality and things like that. My sincere request to all practicing architects is please incorporate BIM into your day-to-day design. It's not something, it's a showpiece. And I am at the delivery end and I'm looking at some of the drawings that come. I'll tell you, I can read drawings very well. Some of the drawings I can tell you it's just garbage. So it's just given for the sake of giving some drawings. It's not coordinate between the fellow professionals. It's not in a buildable format. So we look at the design, and our job is to make sure that we are able to construct it. So it's extremely important that we take the best use of technology. It took us ages to move from the manual drafting on a T-scale to what we went to an AutoCAD, and now we just let's take it further all the way up to the delivery process. When you focus on that innovation part of it, the rest of the innovation that happens on site, we can do it. The other thing I want you to do is please design to a purpose. When you design, think about the cost, think about the time, think about the construction methodology, think about several things. Please, let's think about architecture in a different way so that we can put everything into the design so that when it comes out, engage with all these people so that we are getting a much better design output, which is easy to build. So those are some of my, I would say, important things that I would think. It's focus on something that we can do, and please focus on delivery so that our life becomes very easy. And I would sincerely request most of the architects now, please, let's kind of take India to the next best level we can on the healthcare. How can we design, cost-effective and efficient medical colleges, hospitals, nursing homes, care centers? Because we all know they are short. How can we really make that happen? And we are definitely ready to partner with you in terms of delivery of these projects. Thanks.
Thank you, Jairam. Thank you. It's very reassuring because, generally my thing, my thing on PMC is that, their mandates are for costs and time. And, sometimes the design intent goes to the back seat. So, I think you need to integrate that. And at Turner, I know they do. But generally, PMC mandates are only for cost and time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Because we have never had good PMCs. The PMCs have been the IPCs, where the forte of the business is something else. It could be leasing, it could be something else, facility management. And then it's an early entry, when they get into project management. It's beyond, what you call as manpower supply. It is not manpower supply. It's extremely important that we are a part of, and we should be brought in early so that the design is being questioned.
Yeah.
Absolutely.